Thanks for having me back. I just think my favorite line of the night is, I don't want that son of a bitch in my house! So I just wanted to say it. Does everyone want to say it? Wouldn't that be fun? Okay, ready? I have to read it. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. I don't want that son of a bitch in my house! Yeah, it feels so good. Woo! Okay. Thank you for that. Okay. A little background to my epistolary story. Catherine is one of my oldest and dearest friends. The older sister, my younger sister, and I never had. She's a psychiatrist, a mother of 2 near college-age girls. She's published a book, and now she's putting the finishing touches on another. And I always say to her, I can't believe you can write a book. I could never write a book. And she said, well, just take those stories you tell over and over and give them a title and put it on the notes part of your phone, and one day you'll have a book. So today I'm going to share with you one of the chapters inspired by her. December 31st, 2016. Dear Catherine, here I am at my dining room table on the morning of New Year's Eve in Chicago, where I should be working on my application for promotion, which will be the factor that determines whether my book will be called Associate Professor with Tenure Forever, or Maxi Pad with Wings, Tales of a Flighty Gynecologist. Either way, the book I write will be dedicated to you. I've discovered that the only way I can write a story is if I'm writing it to someone else. Yes, it's true, my psychiatrist friend, and I admit it, that I need an audience. I know you'll ponder that and get back to me about the prognosis for my future sanity, but for now, that's who I am, and I'm just going to own it. So you're my audience for today. I've told you this story many times, but I've never written it down. Don't expect perfection. I'm writing very quickly because I have to write this application for promotion. I have to do my 10-minute booting shaking workout. I have to do my 10-minute meditation practice, which is now down to 10 seconds. I have to do my daily practice of activism, which involves tweeting at real Donald Trump with helpful ideas about how he can be a good president for me. I can't remember the name of the drugstore at the corner of Lone Pine and Orchard Lake Road in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. Was it F-Rose or was it Rite Aid? It's a detail I'm sorry to forget because I spent a measurable portion of my childhood there. Packs of Hubba Bubba Bubblicious gum, puffy stickers with googly eyes, and on this occasion, maxi pads with wings. I do remember how bright it was, fluorescent glare on my pale, pale arms, which at the flabby and lumpy arm age of 48, I now wish I had appreciated much more than I did. It was summer. I had my period. I drove myself to the corner drugstore to do what I had to do. To be honest, I wasn't overly self-conscious about it, but I did on the way contemplate the likelihood that I would run into someone I would know. I always ran into someone there. So I chose that time of day, early morning, when the statistical likelihood of running into someone I knew in the maxi pad aisle would be pretty low. And it was. The aisle was empty, bright and empty. I found the maxi pads I needed. I needed wings because those pads were so damned big. Obviously not designed by a teenage girl like one of yours. Today, no teenage girl would settle for those ridiculous pads. She would code a new solution. She'd start a business. She'd be Snapchatting out new maxi pad designs to all of her friends. She'd be on Kickstarter looking for funding. And for sure, she or her mom, as the case may be, would send a synopsis of the project and the digital design prototypes to the college counselor with a list of all the all the family members who had also gone to that college and the patent numbers of their inventions just to seal the deal on the early admission. Sound familiar? But as self-efficacious as I was as a 16-year-old girl, I admit it did not occur to me to do anything other than buy the maxi pads as they were and feel grateful that someone came up with a great idea for the wings. So my pad would do what it needed to do to avoid the parting of the Red Sea, as we called it, and not soar out of my underpants when I did a split jump off a pyramid during cheerleading practice. I found the maxi pad with wings, and they were in a giant blue or pink box, or maybe it was both, but it was big enough to fit 12 rolls of toilet paper. I couldn't even try to hide the box under a 12-pack of toilet paper, and I know because I tried. It was a bad idea, but it was the only thing I could grab when I saw Greg Palian, let's just call him, very adorable quarterback of the varsity football team, wearing his varsity jacket on a 90-degree hot summer morning, glistening with sweat, coming down the perpendicular aisle of the drugstore. Fortunately, Greg did not see my face because the combination of the maxi pad with wings and the toilet paper rolls shielded my face. I put the toilet paper back where I found it because I'm a rule follower and I never just drop and run, although I would have been forgiven if I had done that. So I put the toilet paper back and I dashed over to the checkout counter thinking I could get out quick while Greg was tending to his business. The lady at the checkout counter turned out to be someone's mom, and she looked familiar, but I just couldn't figure out who it was, but I knew she was a boy's mom. And she recognized me too, and she was happy to see me, way too happy. I wasn't sure which way it would go, but I was relieved that she seemed to be going down the path of we're both women, and I'm just going to make some casual chat and be nonchalant about the fact that you're buying an enormous box of maxi pads with wings, and I'm going to try to lower the tension level by just making casual conversation. But while I do so, I have to find the price tag because that's my job, and I just can't seem to find it anywhere. How are you, Stacy? Are you having a good summer? I love your haircut. And then with no warning whatsoever, friendly cashier lady, mama boy I know at the checkout counter, picks up the microphone and booms in a voice requiring no amplification whatsoever. And you know what's coming. I swear it's true. Price check. I need a price check on the maxi pad with wings, the enormous supersized box for the cheerleader from Andover High School who lives on Terra Court, and her dad is a dermatologist. Everybody knows him. And then she looks at me and she's like, I'm sorry, I've always wanted to do that. Okay, I exaggerated a little, but you get the idea. So at the same moment, I feel myself going cold and getting hot all at once. Now that I'm a gynecologist today, I can explain this physiology to you. I was cold because I was already hemorrhaging from my uterus, and my blood vessels were clamping down to maintain the oxygen tension in my brain, a situation that was exacerbated by the sympathetically mediated fight or flight response triggered by this cashier's unexpected and aggressive assault on my 16-year-old modesty. And I was hot because now Greg Palian, and if we had a slide projector, you could see his picture. Isn't he adorable? Okay, now he's standing next to me at the cash register, me and my giant box of maxi pads. And he's smiling, but he's smiling at me, not with me. Run to the roar, said my 8th grade teacher, Sharon Newman, and this came to me in the moment. So I turned to Greg, and I say hi with my pretty hair and my pale, pale arms, and I say, I have 2 tickets to the Detroit Tigers game, and would you like to go with me tomorrow? I've got the 2 front row seats right behind home plate. So I literally asked Greg Palian, quarterback of the varsity football team, on a date as a distraction to the humiliation caused by what I'll call my hot box situation. You may not know this, but in a drugstore, a hot box is a word they use for an enormous box of maxi pads without a price tag. But in baseball, ironically, this is a situation where the base runner gets trapped between 2 bases with no way out. Greg says, yes, I'll pick you up tomorrow in my giant powder blue 4-door Chrysler with a white vinyl front seat, emphasis on the white, that is all 1 seat. There's no middle in those days. Who would have considered that baseball, the epitome of topics to think about when trying to forget thoughts of anything genital, would have so many references to things with wings? If it hadn't been for all the fly balls and the bat boys, Greg Palian, adorable captain of the varsity football team, surely would have forgotten that I was sitting next to him like a hen warming her eggs on my hot summer maxi pad with wings. Sister, I hope reading this story is the first of many happy, high-flying adventures for 2017. Thanks for inspiring me to write it. Lots of love.